Mercedes Benz CLS 63, and we're here to see how this stacks up to the Audi RS7. Okay guys, coming to the exterior of the beautiful Mercedes CLS 63, I must just start off by saying, to me, this is possibly the most beautiful four-door Mercedes has made to this time. I mean, compared to the latest CLS and even the GT 4-door or similar, I think the only Mercedes that compete are the SLS, AMG GT and SLR. Excuse the bikes out there, we are working on getting marks, so that should be sorted hopefully by next week. So thank you guys for the support. Just quickly want to add that in, but yeah, let's keep heading over with the looks. Now coming to the side of the car, you can see the really nice lines, angles and arches. I mean, these arches are superbly wide and make the car just stand out. You can see this is a V8 bi-turbo, of which we'll speak about, with the nice Mercedes almost keeping it inside there. You've got the big AMG wheels as well as drilled and slotted AMG brakes, which means this car stops as quickly as it gets going. Coming to the front of this car, I mean, if you take a look at it from the front, it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, any angle of this car just stands out. So as you can see now, heading to the side, you've got a really nice line that runs across the whole body and goes down, as well as on the bottom, which just makes this car seem wide and wild. You've got the same almost E-Class coupe style of arching, and also it reminds me of like a Bentley side rear arch. You've got some really nice almost teardropped, like tiger eye looking rear lights, which Mercedes has almost integrated in some of the new models in many ways, as well as a really nice rear end to the car. As you can see, some more lining and arches which just make this car stand out. You've obviously got the AMG badge, carbon fiber rear spoiler, as well as the AMG for exhaust, which you guys will hear soon. So let's see if the interior can match the exterior of this car. Hey guys, so now that we're inside the CLS 63, I do have to say it is a very nice place to stay in here. You have much of your controls for the gauge cluster over there. You have your on-call and much of your radio controls as well. You have your pedal shifters, which just feel so nice. I think apart from a Porsche, Mercedes still makes some of the best pedal shifters from its rivals, other than like BMW and Audi. They just make much better feeling pedal shifters. You know, you can, even if you can hear it, it's just so much more metallic, so much more tactile, like you really are pulling something, you really are doing something with the car. Then you have your IWC Schaffhausen clock over there, which would probably go for a pretty penny these days if it is stolen, or you just want to take it out and maybe sell it for a very nice watch. And then, you know, much of everything else in here is old school Mercedes plastic. You know, you have your radio controls over here, you have your hazard lights, you have your eco, and you have your turning parking sensors off function right there, and you have your heated seats. Now this is very confusing because it's supposed to be an AMG, and when you buy something like this, you're not essentially supposed to care about fuel economy and driving very safe and very slow to try and save the environment. And then you still have your climate controls over there, you have your two cup holders, and then looking down here, you have your AMG shifter with the AMG badge right there. As you can see, a falter back AMG with the V8 valve and the Mercedes tree and much of the leaves going around it. And then over here you have your drive modes, so you have comfort, you have sport, and you have sport plus, as well as manual mode, but that defaults from AMG mode. That actually turns it into manual mode, so then you can shift with the pedals right over there. And then you have your traction control off, and then you have your two-stage suspension system. Now I don't know about you, but I don't really want to be adjusting my suspension system all that much, even if I do have the AMG mode right there. And then this is the old school Mercedes Benz MBUX system. You know, it's not really that good these days. It really is old. The iDrive system or the MMI system from the Audi just felt a bit more real and a bit more modern. You know, this really is old and really does feel its age. And much of everything else in here, you know, it's still very good. It's still a Mercedes Benz at the end of the day. So if I actually turn it on, so now that I did turn it on with the accessory power on, you can see with the speedometer going all the way to 320 kilometers an hour, which is yeah, it's quite scary to see, but this car would probably and definitely do it. And then you have your tachometer that will go all the way to 6,500 RPMs, so you can really ring this engine out. Then your window controls and your mirror controls, you know, it is plastic, I won't deny that. And then wow, just majority of everything here is really, really nice. So now that we move to the rear side of this car, I really just wanted to talk about how spacious and
comfortable it kind of is. You know, it really does mimic the front with the seats and how bolstered they are. You really do feel like these really are how sporty it is. You know, compared to the RS7, that car really did feel more homey. It felt like more comfortable, more ergonomically usable, and just a much better feeling car to sit in the back seat of. It really does make it feel like this really is a much more sportier car, although they do compete on the same category of car. But other than that, majority of it really is a sporty car. The headroom, you know, I'm fine. I'm about 5'8", but probably anyone over like 6'2", 6'3" would struggle because of the sloping rear design. If you do, maybe just get an E63 all the time. But other than that, you know, you do have your climate controls over here, you have your window controls, and I love how it's actually frameless on the back side of this car, which does mimic the front end. So that's really cool. So now let's actually move into the rear side so that we can actually talk about how practical it is.
Okay guys, coming to the back end now. As you can see inside, the boot actually does go quite far in. I mean, it is that kind of hatchback coupe style-esque of a four-door, similar to the RS7. I must say the RS7 is more so practical coming to the boot. As you can see, this still does have a normal style boot, whereas the RS7 was a full hatchback. So in terms of practicality, the RS7 was definitely more practical.
We have actually come underneath the beast of this car, which is the 5.5 liter bi-turbo handcrafted AMG V8, which puts out at around 386 kilowatts, which is around 520 horsepower and 700 newtons of torque. Now compared to the RS7, it is low down on power, but compared to torque, it's right around the same time. But the thing with this car is it's actually rear wheel drive, so all the power and all the torque goes to the rear wheels, whereas with the Audi it was quattro all-wheel drive. So you really could use that car all day, every day, whichever the weather, whichever the storm, whichever the hurricane. So now let's actually go and hear this car, because while we heard it, and while it's best if you guys hear it.